Hi guys, welcome back to Dr. Naikwadi Trio. In today's video, I am going to provide the solution for the Class 12 Karnataka Board Chemistry Examination. If you haven't watched my previous video where I discussed the MCQ answers for the chemistry exam, make sure to check it out first. The link will be available in the description. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with the solution. So part B. So there are 2 marks question. So 21st question is, what are transition elements? Give an example. So this question we have discussed in the yesterday's video. You can see that the exactly same question has appeared in the exam for 2 marks. So the answer to this question is, the d orbital is incompletely filled in its ground state or oxidation state. So example for this is scandium, titanium and vanadium. So now 22 question is, write the SN2 mechanism involved in the conversion of chloromethane to methanol. So this is also the question which we have discussed. So mainly first you have to write reaction, and in reaction you have to mention how the methyl chloride is converted into methyl alcohol. That is same chloromethane to methanol. In second you have to write mechanism. That is, it is single step mechanism, and formation of your carbocation and nucleophile they take at simultaneously. Now 23 question is, what is half life of a reaction, and you have to represent it symbolically. So half life is nothing but the time taken to complete the reaction by your 50%. That is called as your half life, and it is denoted by your T half. Next 24th question is, list any 2 nitrogenous bases commonly found in both DNA and RNA. So answer to this question is adenine and guanine. So 25th question is, write the product formed when the anisole reacts with ethanol chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum catalyst. So this is also the same question which we have discussed. So we have discussed about methanol, and here the question is of ethanol. Only just you have the changes of ethanol and methanol. So the major product is para-methoxyacetophenol and the minor product is ortho-methoxyacetophenol. So now 26th question is, now we have part C. So here it is of 3 marks question. So now using the valence bond theory, account for your hybridization, geometry and your magnetic property of the following ions. Now the hybridization, this is also the question which we have discussed. So it is of 3 marks. So the hybridization is D2sp3 and the geometry is octahedral and the magnetic property is diamagnetic. So here you will get 3 marks for this 3 question. Now 27th is, what is lanthanoid contraction, and you have to mention any 2 consequences of it. So this is also the same question which we have discussed. So the definition for your lanthanoid contraction is that the gradual decrease in the atomic and the ionic radii from your lanthanum to lutetium is called as your lanthanoid contraction. Now consequences is that the covalent character of the cation get increased and the basicity get decreased from your lanthanum to lutetium. Now 28th question is that you have to write the geometrical isomerism of the given complex where your M, X, L minus L are your central metal atom, and the ligand and the didentate ligand you have to represent, and you have to identify the optically inactive form of it. So now here two types you have to mention. First is cis isomerism and trans isomerism. So now which I have given on the screen, this points you have to mention. So next is your 29th question. So here you have to complete the reaction. So this is the same question which we also have discussed. So just here they have asked you in the fill in the blanks. So now first is that conversion of your potassium dichromate. This is a reaction of conversion of potassium dichromate. So which I have underlined, you have to write that equation. So next is 30 question. Here you have to write the IUPAC name of the structure of that ion given, and you have to mention the number of bridges of your groups. Now next is IUPAC name. The IUPAC name is octacarbonyl dicobalt to 0. Now structure is given. This structure you have to draw and the bridge is of 2. Next 31 question. So this is also the same question which we have discussed. That is, you have to derive an integrated rate equation for your first order reaction. So this is the reaction which I have given. So this all the reactions step by step you have to write in your examination. So last the answer which you get is K is equal to 2.303 divided by divided by T log R naught by R. Next is 32 question. So here this is also the same question which we have discussed, and this is nothing but the label diagram of SHE, that is standard hydrogen electrode. And while writing this you have to also mention the reaction given below, that is cathode, anode and the overall reaction. Next 33 question is what are ideal solution, and you have to write 2 characteristic of it. So this is also the question which we have discussed. So now the solution which obeys your Raoult's law, mainly it is called as your ideal solution, and 2 characteristic of this is delta V mix will be equal to 0 and delta H mix will be equal to 0. Next 34 question is you have to mention any 3 factors which decides the product of your electrolysis. So this is also the same question which we have discussed. That is nature of the electrolyte, type of electrolyte used, electrode potential of the ion. Next is part D. So this is your mainly 5 marks questions. So now the first question they have asked you is name the 2 monosaccharides obtained when the lactose is subjected to hydrolysis. So answer to this question is D-glucose and D-galactose. So now B question is what are non-essential amino acids? Mention the name of alpha amino acids which is optically inactive. So this B question we have already discussed. That is, as a non-essential amino acids are synthesized by your body, and the optically inactive alpha amino acid is a glycine. Now C question is name the hormone which mediates response to external stimuli, that is adrenaline. Now moving towards your 36 questions. When an alkyl chloride reacts with sodium iodide in dry acetone gives the alkyl iodide. So this is the same question which we have discussed, and the remaining part, that is first, second and third question is also same. And the B question in this part, B question is also same. So here first is name the reaction. So the reaction is Finkelstein reaction. And general equation which I have mentioned, you have to write that. That alkyl iodide you have get as a product. Now we have to mention the role of your triacetone. So what is the role of triacetone? It is a polar apotic solvent that dissolves your NaI and while facing the precipitation of NaCl and NaBr. Now the B question is also same, that is what is meant by your racemic modifications and why they are called as your optically inactive. So for this you have to give a reason. So racemic modification is nothing but it is a equimolar mixture of your dextrorotatory and levorotatory in your 1:1 mixture. Okay. Now give reason they have asked, because they do not rotate at any angle in your left or right side. So they are what optically inactive. Now 37 is write the equation involved the preparation of methane 1 through your Gabriel thalamide synthesis. So now only just equation you have to mention. So the last product you are going to get is sodium thalamide and your primary amines. Now B question is you have to illustrate the carbyl-amine reaction with the general chemical equation. So this is also the question which we have discussed. So always remember the carbyl-amine reactions gives the isocyanate, the product as your isocyanate when your primary amines react with your chloroform and alcoholic KOH. So here you have to general formula you have to write, then you have to mention one example for it. Next is 38 question. So A question is write the steps involved in the mechanism of your acid catalyst dehydration of ethanol to ethane. So this is also the question which we have discussed. So now step 1, that is formation of protonated alcohol. Step 2 is your formation of carbocation. Third is your formation of ethene by depolarization. So you have to mention all these three. Now B is your complete the following reactions. Now the reaction is given, you have to convert it. Now 38th question. Here in this paragraph they have asked you about what is A, B, C, D and E. Okay, in this equation. So you have to read the question very carefully. And the answer to this first question is your A is acetone, B is your iodoform, and C is your sodium acetate, and D is your methyl oxide, and E is your nothing but methane. Now 40. A, that is your HBZ reaction, and you have to explain it with the chemical equation. So this is also the question which we have discussed. So what is your HBZ reaction? Here your carboxylic acid containing alpha hydrogen atom treated with your chlorine or bromine in presence of your red phosphorus to get alpha halocarboxylic acid. And general formula you have to represent and one example for that. Next, B question is that write the chemical reaction for the conversion of your toluene to benzaldehyde using chromyl chloride. And you have to name the reaction. So now this reaction you have to mention. Now C is nothing but the gas used to facilitate the nucleophilic addition of ethylene glycol to aldehyde and ketones. That is your HCl. Now part E. Moving towards the part E is your problematic. And the first question is that calculate the mass of a non-volatile solute which should be dissolved in your 114 gram octane to reduce its vapor pressure to your 80%. Molecular formula of octane is your C8H18. So molecular mass of that is 40 gram per mole. So now the formula is your P naught minus P divided by P naught is equal to small w into m divided by your capital W into m. So here is nothing but m1 and m2 have to substitute all the values, and last finally you will get answer as your 8 grams. Now 42 question is that the rate constant for the first order reaction is given of H2O2 and the following equation. Now here log K value is given as 14.34 minus 1.25 into 10 raised to 4K by T. Calculate the EA for the reaction. Your R value is mentioned already. So just you have to apply this formula, that is log K is equal to log A minus EA divided by 2.303 divided by RT. So now substitute all the values and finally we will get it as 239.3 kilojoule per mole. Now 43 questions. So this is from your electrochemistry. Now read the following reaction. Apply the formula, that is N log Kc is equal to Ne E naught cell divided by 0.0591 and substitute the value, you will get final answer as 7.783. Next is your 44th question. So this is from your solution chapter. So now see, here what you have to do is you have to apply the formula for M2. So that is 1000 into Kf into W1 divided by delta Tf into W2. This is the easiest part which you can solve. That is M2 value have got as 256 gram per mole. The numerical is a bit tough, but if you focus you can solve it. Now 45 is calculate the limiting molar conductivity of Cl ions by using the given data. Carefully read the given data and finally you will get a answer, that is lambda naught MCl is equal to your 152.6 Simon centimeter square per mole. Next is a 46th question. So this is also easy from your chemical kinetics. So it is a first order reaction is given that takes place in your 40 minutes and 30% decomposition. Then you have to calculate the value of your T half. So the first formula is K is equal to 2.303 log A naught divided by A into T. So now you have to substitute all the values, and while you have calculated the K value, then you have to apply for your T half. That is T half formula is 0.693 divided by K. Now K value which you have calculated above, you have to substitute there. And now you will get as T half value is 77.66 minutes. If this video helped you, make sure to like, share and subscribe to Dr. Naikwadi Trio for more exam solutions and answer key for the upcoming exams. Thanks for watching. and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.